Today I'm going to bare my soul, my cabin soul. Here it is. I've decided to replace this. What I've done is screwed it all together so that it's one homogeneous lump so that I can use it as a template. The reason I've decided to replace it is that over years of varnishing and revarnishing and refitting, and what I had planned to do originally was just repair this and revarnish it, but if you look at the edges here, it's just worn out now. Bit missing up there. You know, every edge has got, this is nasty, and that's lifted there. Now, it isn't beyond repair. You know, I could cut a centimetre off the edge of that and edge it with something, you know, put some beading around it, some hardwood beading, look nice, but it's a lot of work to do that. And fortunately, I'm in a position at the moment where I can afford to just go and buy a sheet of plywood. So I've got a sheet of marine plywood coming today, hopefully. And what I'll do is make my new cabin sole in one piece instead of five. My reasoning for that is, at the moment, the main part of the cabin sole there is in two halves, obviously. And when I sort of tossed this up and thought about it, I wondered whether that was in order to gain access to things under there. In fact, all that's under this part of the cabin sole is an access, an inspection cover for the water tank. And it takes 20 screws to be removed to get access to that. So there's nothing quick access about that. If I make the whole thing in one piece, I'll be able to secure that probably with only 10 or 12 screws in total. Let me think, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, maybe 14 screws. So it'll be less fixings, which, you know, in my book makes it more accessible, not less. So that's certainly one piece, no question about that. This end of things is obviously in three pieces there, and the way it's currently designed, you have to be able to get under here to get to the water tank to fill it up. And I've just fitted a filter in my water system and a new faucet, one of those whale galley pump things. So that's reinstated for now at least. So you do need to be able to get access to that. The way it currently is, in order to get that little cover off, you have to take the companionway steps out. So that's quite a palaver, really. So what I'm hoping I'm going to do, well, what I'm going to try and do, is remake the matrix as I see fit by making this in one piece of marine plywood and putting an inspection cover in here with some leftover Iroko beading that I've got from where I did the cabin sides, the cabin side to deck join. I put some new beading in there. I'll trim that down and be able to just edge that off with a bit of Iroko and then make a hatch that goes in there, which will all be flush and smooth. So that these bits, I'll reuse these, I expect, because it's just a little bit hardwood there. I'll reuse that. So that this is independent then, so that if you want to fill the water up, you just lift the hatch, unscrew the cover and fill the water up. And I've got to think about how I'm going to support these edges, because the taper on these is actually quite abrupt, which leaves them very thin near the edges, and of course that's why it's done what it's done there. With it in profile there, you can see just how bad that edge is there now. It's got to the point really where the right thing to do is to just replace it. So there it is, that's what I'm starting with. I've screwed it all together so I can use it as a template, and what I'll do is I've got some flexible plastic, it's actually conduit for electrical cable, household electrical cable. It's square in section, so what I'll do is lay this on the plywood and clamp that conduit around the outside to fair up the curves, basically. Then take this away, draw along the plastic, take the plastic away, cut it out. Hopefully plywood will arrive today. I'll update you when I've got it all. So after a little bit of buggering about, and by that I mean the first sheet of plywood that was delivered this morning, actually it was this afternoon, was clearly shuttering plywood, not marine plywood. And I think that rather than trying to pull a fast one, somebody just picked the wrong bit and stuck it on the truck. Anyway, had to send that back. Fortunately, they've sent me back a bit that definitely is marine plywood, because it's got a stamp on it that says marine plywood. And what I've done is cut it in half down the middle, pretty much. Clamp the old cabin sole to it, and with the guides around there that I'm going to draw around, you can see how badly damaged, I suppose, the cabin sole is in some places. Other places is really nice, but things like this I'm not happy with. And down there's probably a 8 or 9 inch strip there where it's just not the right shape. And obviously right at the end you can see where the plywood sort of supposed to come up to there, and it's completely gone there, almost to the end. Just from, I don't know, years, I suppose. From the years. Same story on this side. Anyway, hopefully that'll be a nice fair shape. I'm going to draw around that with a pencil now, and yeah, cut it out. We should be good to go. Well, that's come out all right. Of course, that's the top. And I chose that for the top because in the grain there I can see it's got some interesting patterns. It's quite light now, but when it's varnished that'll go darker, and they should just pop a little bit, those patterns, which is going to be nice. The jigsaw seems to have cut it quite cleanly. There are a few little bits, but after I put the bevel on the other side, I will paint all those seams with epoxy to seal them and to give them a bit of strength, because once that soaks in it will give it a bit of strength and hopefully stop the same thing happening again. That's where we're at. Good. Here it is then, finished. There's my hatch there. If I just leave it, pull it up level, it does actually fit very well. No split edges, that's all a uniform width along there. And what I've done is gone around all these edges and leached as much thinned epoxy into them as I can, and then given them a coat of normal epoxy, and that's what you can see there is just a little trace of that. And there's my little hatch here, a little hardwood hatch. Well, actually it's a plywood hatch, marine ply hatch with some Iroko beading. Varnishing isn't really quite finished yet. It's not glass-like. To be honest, you know, I've realised that when I took this lot out of the boat to do it, what I've effectively done is decommissioned my boat. So I think I'm going to do this and leave the really fine finishing till it comes out again next year. So anyway, there's the cabin sole there. The next shot you'll see hopefully will it be with it in the boat. I decided to do the top of the engine box at the same time, And Murphy's Law, of course, always applies. As soon as I took it off, the beading fell off the front and the back, so I'm just sticking that back on there now. Places where the hinges go is in really reasonably good shape though. That's pretty good. I'll be able to just replace those. And the other bit, which is a sort of a right angle section there, is currently drying in the cool evening sunshine from its first little coat of stuff. Yeah, so there it is. And that engine box top, the L-shaped bit is made of mahogany, and so is that. Lovely bit of wood. So that come out quite nice, I think. New hinges. New grip. I ran out of varnish. It's looking nice there. In fact, that's a hell of an upgrade. I mean, that bit of wood there was just lifeless before. It was all one colour, you couldn't see any grain. It had just been varnished and varnished and varnished and varnished. And it's all just sprung back to life. Look, it's got character again. And colour again. Look at that lovely bit of mahogany there, look at that. Beautiful. That is definitely better than the water filler, which I'm just about to fill up. Things I'm not happy with then, the colours may be a little bit bright. I mean, I could correct that the next time it's out of the water. I can strip that back, stain it a bit darker. However, looking at the colour that the original boards here have come up, actually there isn't that much. If it was all that colour, it would be acceptable, that lightness. And here, this is just in the same, I mean the floorboards were in exactly this condition. Under there is some really nice wood, like that. All like that. Or that. Or that. You know, there's plenty of wood that is a lighter shade, and actually it wouldn't be too bad a match if it was like that. All it would need then is another coat of varnish, which will sort of darken it a little bit. Obviously I'll need to sort that out. The finish is garbage on it, and the stain could be darker. Or maybe not, who knows. Finish certainly not sort of. This has come up very well. New hinges. Beautiful. There it is. New cabin sold.